Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I know I haven't been posting in a while. I've been busy with some quite interesting stuff, okay? And it's mostly content. I'm going to be posting a lot for you guys, just for us to learn more and faster, okay? So anyways, today I want us to try out something. I want us to build a login page, okay? So this is what we're going to be building, and I think it's going to be fun because I'm going to build it using simple HTML and CSS. I'm not going to use any fancy languages or tools. Okay, so let's get started, right? So I already created a HTML document, as you can see, and some CSS. So let's start with the title. Let's rename this and call it login. Okay, so this is the login. So this is the title, and it's called login. And now we can start with our HTML. So what we do is we're going to have a container. So a container is going to contain all our HTML code inside. So we're going to have a div, and this div is going to have a class, and let's call it login container, like so. Okay, so all of our code is going to be inside this particular div. Okay, and since we're having a login form, okay, it's in the word form, so it's a form, so meaning we'll be using a form. Okay, so we'll have a form here, and this form let's give it a name, a class of login form, like so. Okay, so inside this form we'll have a h2, and h2 is going to be login. Okay, as you can see here, it's showing here, so we have an h2 of login, and I think we should have another div, and this div is going to contain all of our, let's give it a name, it's going to be the input group. Okay, so all of our input is going to go within this input group. So that's going to be our input section, where you want to put your username and your password. It's gonna go inside here. So with that being said, we'll have a label to showcase that. Let's remove the for. We want to have a label to showcase that. Okay, what is this for? Okay, maybe we can keep the for here. So this is for username. Okay, and username right here. Okay, so this is our username and a input. So the input, it'll have a type of text, and let's have an ID. Let's set this ID to be username. Okay, this is for later references when we use JavaScript to be able to interact with our form. Okay, and let's have a placeholder. Enter username, just like this. Okay, so we have a input for the username, and I think that should be it for this. Let's have another class with the same class name as input group. Okay, so let's have another div. So this div is going to have the same class name as the previous one, so it's also going to be called input group. Okay, because the styling is going to be the same, that's why it's like this. Okay, so we also have a label, and this label is now going to be for the password. Okay, so password, and we're also going to have an input. Okay, and this input, the type is going to be password, not text. Okay, because remember, for the username, because it's a name, so a name is a text, so a password, it has numbers, so that's why we just call it password. Okay, and we'll have an ID for it, so we can use it later. ID of password, and we have a placeholder. Okay, so this placeholder is going to say enter wait, what happened? Enter password, like so. Okay, I think I see where the problem is. Did not add this here. Okay. Oh, okay, there we go. So perfect. Okay, so we have our login form, we have username, and we have our password. What else do we need? What else does a login form have? It also has the text in the bottom that says, if you do not have an account, then click here so you can also sign up, right? Let's create that. But before we create that, we have to have some form of submission, some form of submit button. Okay, so we can submit our username and password. So it's in the name, it's a button. Okay, because we use buttons to usually submit things. So submit. Okay, and we can call it login. Okay, so that's our button done and dusted. And now we're going to do the paragraph. Let's call it sign up link. Okay, so if you don't have a account, and then we're going to use a href, as just put a hashtag for now, and sign up. Okay, just like this. I think our form looks pretty good. For now, right? What we can now do, I think our form is now complete. We have our username, we have our password, we have our button, and we have our link. So what we can now do is we can now jump into the CSS and try to style this and make it, look good. So let's jump straight to that. First of all, we need to link our CSS. Okay, so let's get to the head section and let's link our CSS. Okay, so it's style.css and we saved it as style.css and it's in the same folder. Okay, now what we do is we go to the CSS part and let's style the body. So we are now going to style the body. So we have a height of 100 VH. Okay, and let's try to display this as a flex element, and let's justify the content and center everything. Okay, so everything has shifted to the middle. All right, and let's align the items also and center every item. Okay, and let's change the background to something. Let's use a linear gradient. I'll use it to right. Let's okay, you know what, let's just, no, it's fine, let's leave this part. There's no need for that now. Let's just change the font. That's the font family and set it to sans serif. It's fine. Okay, perfect. So now let's target the login. So we're now targeting, so this was targeting the entire body. Okay, so this was targeting this part right here. Okay, so all of our HTML. Okay, so it was targeting the entire thing. So now we are targeting the login container. Okay, let's copy this. Okay, so the way we target the div is you use a dot and then you call the name. Okay, that's how you target a div. So let's change the background and make it white. Okay, and let's change the padding and make it to 2 rem, and let's change the border radius. Okay, so the curve of it to 12 pixels, and let's put some box shadowing of 4 pixels and 10 pixels, and have an RGBA of, you know, some I think it's gonna be 0.2. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, maybe I should add some background. Just, you know, let's do that. Let's add some background. Let's make it I was going to make it linear. So linear, we're going to use a linear gradient and set it to right. Okay, and we're going to use 667 EEA, right? And we're going to use, I think it's 764 BA2, right? Perfect. So that we can be able to see the white background that we have set for our container. Okay, if we remove this, we don't really have much of a background. Okay, and let's edit. So now at least there's a difference. Okay. Okay, so anyways, let's keep moving forward. So now that we are able to see the difference between the two, we can go on and add, let's put some width to our thingy. Let's make it 100%. Okay, so that we can be at least fill up the entire container. Okay, and yeah, I think now we can set it to the max width. So this is the maximum width. Okay, from here it shouldn't go past. Okay, so there you go. If it reaches 400, it should not go past. It should not have the entire 100% width. So it's now set to 400 pixels. Okay, so this is perfect. Now what we can do is we can go ahead and we can get the login form. I think, yes, let's double check if we, so it's the login form, and we are going to get the text. Let's text align everything and send it to center. Okay, and let's change the margin bottom so that we can have some space, Let's call it 1.5 rem. Okay, perfect. And let's set the color to be something dark. Okay, perfect. So what we can now do is we can get the let's now target the input. Okay, let's see what follows after this. Okay, so we've done the form. Now let's get the input group. So input group, we're just going to set input group, we're going to set the margin bottom, right? Let's set the margin bottom to 1.2 rem also. So this is this part, right? The space, this space right here. Okay, I think that's good. Let's now target the input. So we got the input group. Let's get the input group again, but this time we are targeting the labels. Okay, so let's get the label and let's display it. Let's get a block elements. Okay, we want it to display as a block element. So there's a difference between block and inline. Okay, but this is more advanced CSS things. Okay, so CSS, yeah, CSS guys. Yeah, so we are going to change it to be a block element, and we are going to have some space in the the margin bottom, and let's get some color of 444. Okay, and now let's get the input group, but for the input, I think let's see what's next. So we've done the labels. Okay, so it's both of these. So now let's get the button. Okay, so let's get the button. We're just gonna call it as it is. So the button will have a width of 100%. Okay. So we have the width of 100%. We have a padding. What's happening? Yeah, we have a padding of 0.75 rem. Okay, so it's so far looking like, let's change the background color and make it look better. Let's use 667 EEA. Yeah, I think that's better. And let's change its color to be white. And let's remove every border because it's not looking good. And so far it's looking good. And let's remove. Okay, let's add some border radius so that it can have a nice round the edges. And let's set the font size to be 1 rem. And let's set the cursor to be a pointer. Okay, cursor to be a pointer. Okay, so what this does is when you hover it, it's going to point. All right, so this is what it does. So it's now pointing. And okay, perfect. What else do we need to do? Let's add some effect. So button, when you're hovering on it, must change the background to be something a bit lighter or darker. Let's go with 5A 6 7 D0. Okay. Okay, so you see it gets a bit darker when you hover over it. Okay, this is perfect. And now let's target this part. This part right here. So the sign up link. Let's get the sign up link underway. Sign up link. So we'll get the text aligned to be center. And let's get the margin top, set it to 1 rem, and let's get the font size, set the font size to be 0.9 rem. Yeah, perfect. It's looking professional right now, but I don't really like this decoration here, so let's target that part. Okay, let's target that part. Let's change the color back to our usual color, so it's 667 EEA. And let's change the text decoration to none. So text decoration, it removes the underline part. Okay, and yeah, I think this looks quite good. I mean, it's not the best, but it looks good. It looks good. The input though, maybe we could work a bit on the input group. Yeah, let's work a bit on the input group label, because it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Maybe we can do that. Let's do that. Let's work on the input. Okay, so we have the input group, input. Okay, and let's have the width of 100%. Okay, and we have the padding of 0.75 rem, and we are using let's have a border of 1 pixels, and let's make it a solid, and let's have a color of CCC, and let's have a border radius of 6 pixels, and let's use a font style or font size of 1 rem. Yeah, no, I think that's good. This looks a bit better, definitely. Yeah. So anyways, guys, so this is just an example of what you can do with HTML and CSS, just the two. Okay, so you can create things like this, or you can go even crazier, create some animations. Yeah, it's up to you what you want to do, how you want to create certain effects. You can use effects. Okay, and yeah, please do like, follow, subscribe, comment, and share with others. Okay, I will be posting more of projects like this using HTML and CSS, so we can get familiar with how basic websites are built. Okay, before we get into things like JavaScript and React and Python and all those complicated tools. Thank you.